John, Yuri, that was a significant night for Aston Villa, but you really did have to dig deep and work hard.
Just a brilliant effort towards the end. I know we got a bit of fortune with the third goal, but it's been a tough couple of weeks. Manager will not admit it, but boys are out on their feet, giving absolutely everything. Yuri's obviously coming back, playing through the pain barrier. Some of us are sort of half men out there, but this play's got us going. When we got the second goal, Big John, he's a bit nuts. He's a nightmare sometimes to have in your team, but he's got moments of quality. The second one wasn't a bit of quality, but the first one was a top finish, and we'll need to try and keep his feet on the ground the next couple of days.
That was some substitution that was made. But for you, Yuri, I mean, it was a little bit shell-shocked around here when you conceded with that own goal with Emi Martinez. But once you fired them level, the momentum seemed to swing your way.
Yeah, I think we created a couple of chances after that. Unfortunately, we didn't score, but in the end, we got the draw. Like John said here, we fought right until the end, and that's the most important thing. It's the mentality that we have.
It was such an open game, so much activity going on in both boxes.
It was, yeah. Unfortunately, we couldn't score more because we felt like we deserved a couple more goals, especially in the first half, and then still a chance to make it 4-3 at the end. So, yeah, it's unlucky, but we'll take the draw.
John, when you say it's been tough, we know it's been really busy with Europe as well. How difficult was it to lift yourself with the injuries and the setbacks that you've had for this night tonight?
No, I don't think it's been difficult for us as players. We've got, I don't know about Yuri, he might have played with Anderlecht in the Champions League, but there's some of us that have never been close to Champions League football in our life, so the goal for us is massive. Throughout the season, I think what's gone under the radar is you hear about everyone's injuries. We're not comparing ourselves to other teams, but the manager's got a no excuse mentality. We've not used it as an excuse. People keep writing us off all throughout the year. We've just floated under the radar nicely, and we're so close to fourth position now, and we'll get the Man City tops on tomorrow night and see what happens.
Yeah, I guess you will be watching tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's normal. I think the fact that we're in that fourth position and we want to keep it, and hopefully it will be all done tomorrow.
But that's just it, because you could have done it tonight. That opportunity has gone, but you got yourself back in to put yourself in such a strong position.
Aye, but we've got a wee bit of PTSD from coming back level, so I think the balance of taking the point, I think we've had a lot of experiences here. When we get back to Olympiacos is still raw in our mind. We came back to 2-2, it was a little bit too hectic, and we lose 4-2, so we're learning as a group, growing as a group, and we'll definitely take the point against a top team.
Such a game as well for your final home game of the season. Just a message out there for all the fans that packed and made in all the noise.
Well, I just want to thank them, especially at the end there. You could feel the atmosphere, the buzz around the club, around the players, and yeah, the fans were amazing the whole season. And it's not by chance that we had such a good record at home. So yeah, well done to them.
You are so close. Well done to you tonight. So close. Enjoy it.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Football next season. This is an atmosphere transformed at Villa Park, isn't it, this season?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the studio, but you could feel that raw, you know, on that third goal went in, and I've been there at times this season when they've had big results, and it's great to see a club like Aston Villa getting back to where their supporters feel they should be. And there's a lot of giant clubs in this country who, because of the way the game's gone, have not maybe won a trophy for 10, 15, 20 years, and they feel that the hope of actually getting back to what they were in the past. This is European Cup winners in the early 80s, getting back to what they were in terms of challenging for trophies. And what he's done and what Aston Villa have done is give everybody hope. And those teams maybe just outside what we class now as the elite, maybe rightly or wrongly. You think of even Tottenham have won a long time without a trophy. You think of sort of Everton, West Ham. That was brilliant about West Ham winning a trophy last season. And it's just great when you see a different team having these scenes and basically mixing it with the big boys next season if they do get over the line.
I thought it was great, Gary, what John McGinn actually said, because I think we forget sometimes what it means to these players. A player like John McGinn, who's come from Hibs down to the Premier League, had to fight his way to this end of the Premier League.
Yeah. Do you know something? It's something that players talk about, that Champions League music. You know, you sort of got on a Champions League night, you're playing against one of the great teams like AC Milan or Juventus or Bayern Munich, whoever it may be. And Aston Villa's history is about those types of games. So the idea that this group of players, and some of which have never played in the Champions League before, it's know, it's absolutely fantastic, and we need more of it. We need more disruption to the sort of, if you like, top 4, top 5, whatever we think of it is. We need results like this. Newcastle did it last year, came into it. Aston Villa this year. Obviously, Leicester did it a few years ago. The more it happens, the better.
He has absolutely got them in the palm of his hands, though, hasn't he? Just wonder what could happen with another summer of recruitment. Remember, they've got 2 billionaire owners. Like everyone else, they've got to juggle the financial constraints of the Premier League.
That will help if they get in the Champions League.
Absolutely.
Massively.
Give them a bit more wriggle room. But it should have been over tonight for Liverpool, shouldn't it, at 3-1?
Well, I mean, you say that more often than not for most teams, it would be. But, I mean, this is a great thing for Jurgen Klopp. You know, the young centre-back who played a lot of games this season. You just see him here at the back post. Again, it's another set-piece Villa can see. But this header is absolutely out of this world. And you see, he's trying to hold his run because of the offside trap, if you like. But he gets up so high and he's actually ahead of the ball. His body position when the ball is in the air and he actually makes contact, it's like, it reminds me a little bit. I've seen Ronaldo score these type of headers. You know, when he gets up so early and he's almost in the air waiting for the ball. And as it comes across now, I mean, let's just get it back just as he heads it. Can I get that there? I mean, look at his body position. Look how high his knees are off the ground.
It's a memorable first Premier League goal for him.
And then to go in off the top, almost that one where it starts outside and comes back in the top corner. So it was a brilliant goal.
Stop it there. The one thing I couldn't believe, just watching it from a Villa perspective, and you mentioned before the game about conceding from crosses. Didn't you just isolate him at the back post against him? I mean, he's only from 6'2". Didn't he's the smallest player on the pitch? I don't know how that can happen. No, there isn't an adapt. They don't adapt, or they don't sort of see the danger. You see Pau Torres, you see Tielemans. Someone, you just look at him. He's no chance, didn't you? I mean, he doesn't do very well himself. He lets him go inside him, but absolute mismatch.
Little pat on the back for Jamie. The pre-match analysis about conceding from crosses. Well done.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Get it right sometimes.
The work paid off.
But Liverpool really only have themselves to blame.
Yeah, they do. And what's interesting, Jurgen Klopp made substitutions and he took Endo off and McAllister goes back into the holding midfield role. And I think he's found it tough at the start of the season in that position because I don't think he's got the legs. He's got the footballing ability, but this time the footballing ability lets him down. But at times, he can take a little bit too long on the ball and get caught in that situation. But I sometimes look at that. Listen, I'm talking about Liverpool. You've got to look at this guy who's come on off the bench and changed the game. Yeah.
They were getting chances, though, weren't they, generally?
Yeah.
You know, Villa were getting close, they were knocking on the door. I mean, he finishes this one as well. It goes through his legs, actually, as he sort of, like, scissors on the ground. McAllister, there's no chance, Alisson.
But one thing I've noticed, actually, about Arsenal this season, we talk about always playing from the back. Mikel Arteta and Arsenal in a situation like that late in the game are not scared now to actually go direct. We sort of feel like we don't see it as much now. You always play from the back. But I see Raya a lot of times now, late in a game, they'll just go long with it. And I think it's refreshing, actually.
We talked before the game about the potential force of the Aston Villa crowd, and suddenly they sense something.
No, once they got that second, I mean, you just felt that something would happen. The momentum shift in the game was there. Liverpool were attacking less and less, and Villa's tails, but it's a massive price for them. Just talked about it, and this is a really good pass into him, you know. Pass from McGinn into Diaby. I mean, obviously, he talked about legs and being able to run. He gets done there, McAllister, on the sort of half turn, but what a play it is from Diaby. I mean, he's electric when he's like this, and then there's a bit of luck. There's a bit of luck,
but is there a bit of actually intent there as well from Duran?
I don't think so. I think what he may do is look to try and control it. It's so fast. I mean, this is slow-mo, so you don't really get it. I mean, it looks there like he might have meant it. He doesn't. I mean, he may just adjust his legs slightly because he thinks that he might want to control it, but it just hits him.
I think, listen, he doesn't mean to do that. Of course he doesn't, but
be it one heck of a finish if he did.
No, but my point being is, I think I'm trying to actually look at his running action and how high he's at.
Does he overstride a little bit, as if he does mean it?
It feels like he lifts his knee just slightly above. I think we see it more on the next angle, but when you see his actual running action before it gets to him and how high his knees are going, so you just keep an eye on him now where his knees are, right, left, there. It just feels like when the ball comes in, his left knee just goes a little bit higher than maybe what the normal stride would be. He seems to just maybe lift it. Listen, who knows? Only he knows. But they got that little bit of luck. But over the season, you know, have they been the team who we'd say have been the fourth best team in the league and maybe deserve to be in the Champions League? I'd say yeah. I'd say, yeah, they've still got to get over the line. We'll see what happens in the last 2 games for Tottenham, but maybe they deserve that look because, as I said, I think they've been fantastic all season.
Those feelings, somehow it got away from you tonight, but how are those feelings right now?
Oh, it got away from us tonight, there's no doubt about that. We played a really good football game. Everything could have happened tonight as one team was playing really for absolutely everything and one team is playing football and wants to win the game. And we were really, really good. We played a lot of good stuff because Aston had loads of problems. Then, I'm not sure. Before we changed, we gave them too many chances in that moment. That pretty much we were not compact enough anymore. It was very intense for the boys, obviously, and then they created too much. The balls, we couldn't defend the midfield. We were too often in our box. That's why we made the changes. And then we make a mistake. We're on the 3-2. That's how it is. You should not pass the ball there, but we have to show in different ways. Then could we keep it? Yes, of course, but it happens. And in that moment, we opened the door for them. In that moment, the atmosphere was there. And then they scored the equalizer. I don't even know how. Somebody hit somebody, I think, and the ball goes in. Yeah. That's it. Now, I'm really. I think the character and the attitude the boys showed is absolutely outstanding, and that's most important in our situation now. So, would have loved to win the game. I think directly after we changed with the super football moment when Dom is in the box, and we had before that good moment. So, but then. In the moment when we gave away the 3-2, yeah, that was then really, really tricky. And obviously then 3-3, and then they controlled. Then they wanted to keep it as well. Yeah, that's it. That's the story of the game.
Yeah, disappointment for Jurgen Klopp. 1 game to go in his Liverpool career, in his Premier League career as well. He is going to be. It'll be easy for me to go to Jamie on this. He's going to be one almighty miss.
Yeah, the games that they're playing are always good games, and he plays football in the right way, the way in which, there's this sort of question that gets asked, who's your sort of favourite manager? And I would always say Jurgen Klopp. Obviously, the team he manages, I'm not a fan of, but, he's just the personality, the character, the style of play, it's the electricity to it. It was called heavy metal football when he first came to England. It's adapted slightly, but I love watching his Dortmund team in the Champions League. When we had the Champions League sort of all those years ago, that Dortmund team were amazing to watch. And so was this Liverpool team. They played football as it should be played. Everything out there on the pitch, players going forward, players pressing, players looking to score a goal, tackle, run, pass, all the simple things. We hear a lot about structure, we hear a lot about tactics, and we love it. We love all the different styles of play. We respect that some teams have to play more solid, but we need teams like that.
The XG of Aston Villa, incidentally, tonight was 3.36. That's the second highest figure in any game this season. Think about the 3 goals they scored, but also that huge miss of Diego Carlos. And go on.
So do you say that was the second of any team?
Second highest.
Well, that's what some
Aston Villa's second highest. In this season.
Sorry, because Liverpool's actually against, I think Newcastle this season on a Monday Night Football was about 5 or 6 or something bizarre, and that probably sums Jurgen Klopp up.
Is he the most exciting Liverpool manager there's ever been? Because I always think back to the Liverpool teams, maybe not Kenny Dalglish's team, but the ones that you played, and even maybe early in that, there was quite a sort of they were famed for sort of, if you like, killing the game, weren't they? Sort of back in the 70s and 80s. Is he the most exciting Liverpool manager ever?
I think you're right. I think there's something in that, but that's something for the neutral. I don't think when it's your team, you want to be known as the most exciting team or the best watch or the most entertaining. No, I don't. Well, I'd rather win more trophies.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying to you is...
You're talking about Liverpool teams of sort of like what they did away in Europe under, say, Bill Shankly or Bob Paisley, Joe Fagan. They're not mutually
exclusive, those points. You can be the most exciting team and win trophies. You don't have to be either or. I mean, he has won trophies and he's won champions.
He has, but what I would say is there's no doubt, if you're the new manager coming in and people say you can't replace Jurgen Klopp, you said before the show, and you're right, how can you replace that personality, the sound bites in the press conference, that connection that we see with the Spurs? That is very difficult. But in terms of on the pitch, the first thing the new manager has got to look at that is Liverpool defensively. Because you said Jurgen Klopp type of football is your best. I think when Liverpool come second to City, the season after they won it, And then I think a year or two later, they pushed City again all the way. I would say that is my favourite type of football, because that is Jurgen Klopp getting everything right in terms of being strong defensively, being so exciting, attacking. But it's difficult playing that football, the way he plays it, such a high-octane sort of style of play, and getting that balance exactly right at both ends of the pitch.
It was the Wijnaldum and Henderson doing those jobs in behind Mane and Salah, wasn't it? They were sort of shuffling across, and they were providing a lot of cover for that defence, but also for the wide players who were staying forward.
All right, let's hear from the Aston Villa manager, Unai Emery, with Juliet.
Unai, how is the arm? You punched the air so much tonight.
Good evening. Yes, we are very proud of the season we did. It's not enough at the moment to get the fourth position, but of course we are going to prepare the match on Sunday in Crystal Palace, and we are motivated. Today we could finish in case we were winning, but I think we could compete very well, and we really were progressively getting better and creating chances, but at the end, this draw after how we were in the minute 75, more or less, losing 3-1, we had to accept that even after we scored 2 goals, we had chances as well with the last chances with Moussa Diaby. But we are celebrating the season, and with our supporter here finishing in Villa Park, and still 1 match to play, and still the really greatest objective we can dream at the beginning of the season to get it.
Such a big step, though, towards Champions League football next season. Still very much in your own hands. Will you be watching tomorrow night? Tottenham, Manchester City?
Yeah, we are going to think in us, and we are going to prepare tomorrow morning. We are going to train and prepare our match on Sunday, and everything is in our hand to get it, and we are going to try to prepare for us, not thinking in other matches.
How inspired was that substitution? How much of a hero John Duran tonight?
Yes, John Duran is a potential player, and you have to try to help him, to get him when he's good guy, but he needs be behind him, pushing and trying to help and trying to be demanding with him, try to adapt, getting better and progressively our demands tactically as well. And I was pushing him, but when he can have some chances, he's really very clinical. And today was very important. His 2 goals very important.
I know you're disappointed that you didn't do it tonight, but it is still very much in your own hands. And as you say, you got a chance, even though the result didn't go your way, but to celebrate in front of your home fans, because it has been some season for Aston Villa.
Yes, we are today celebrating with our supporters. Of course, still 1 match to play, and still the objective we have in front, and we have to continue pushing, continue working and being consistent, because we were consistent all the season. We were reacting, we were losing. Today the summary in 90 minutes is more or less similar. We started losing 5-1 against Newcastle the first day. We started losing the first minute, but we reacted, and then again we were struggling like we struggled during the season. But always the team was being mature, and as well reacting, always being consistent in our mind, how the difficulty is the way and how the difficulty is to work hard to get it. And today, at the last moment, we did it, and inch by inch we did all the season, and as well still inch by inch for Sunday in Crystal Palace.
Go well, Unai. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa indeed. Up the Villa indeed. Inch by inch, point by point, Aston Villa are getting closer to the Champions League. I thought it was interesting, Gary. He was so animated on that touchline tonight, wasn't he? But when he said, you know, there was the families and everyone going around the pitch, and him obviously getting the fans going as well. But he's very quick to stress they're not celebrating the top 4 just yet.
Yeah, I think it was really important for him to sort of explain that they were celebrating the season, obviously thanking the Aston Villa supporters for everything that they've done, but there's obviously still a job to do. And look, I think if you were Aston Villa, I know they said that did he answer the question about whether he'd be watching tomorrow night or not? I can't remember what he said now.
I wasn't sure when he did really answer the question.
No, but I would be absolutely all eyes on that game, me, tomorrow night. Thinking that City are obviously favourites to do the job, they need to win, and that they can have the most amazing night out sort of during the week, can't they? Tuesday, Wednesday, unexpectedly, because obviously Villa...
Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday.
Absolutely. They can have an absolute belter of a week. City, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I think Arsenal will be really disappointed, but imagine Villa tomorrow night if this result goes the way in which...
Well, if Spurs were to win, it makes it a little bit edgy going to Crystal Palace, doesn't it?
It does. And listen, we're thinking about things riding on the last game, maybe for the title. We've still got that. I mean, we're both there tomorrow, aren't we? I mean, it's a massive game, isn't it? For both clubs. And tomorrow... I think if City win, I think they've won the league basically tomorrow. But I mean, if Tottenham win, that does take that, to the last game, and then Arsenal won the league.
Of the season all began on Saturday, of course, with Manchester City winning, and of course, so too, crucially, did West Ham in David Moyes' last home game in charge, and Spurs late on, and Chelsea at Forest, Luton down, Burnley down, then Arsenal fought back and did their job at Old Trafford on Sunday. We've brought you that 3-3, so all eyes now on a huge game on Tuesday. First of all, in terms of tonight, Spurs have to win to keep the race for fourth place going, and if they do, they will hand the initiative to Arsenal on the final day against the champions Manchester City, in terms of the Gunners having it in their own hands. 2 games for you on Wednesday as well. Chelsea still very much in the European hunt are at Brighton, and so too Newcastle against one of their rivals, Manchester United, who really do have to win that game at Old Trafford. So Sheffield United, Burnley and Luton, because of that goal difference situation, all gone. Forest survived. Just a word on Bournemouth in 11, 48 points, record in the Premier League era. New 2-year contract today for Andrea Iraola, their manager. So, Villa up to 68, 5 clear of Spurs. As I say, it's quite simple now for Ange Postecoglou's side on Tuesday against Manchester City. They have to win, but so too do the champions, to keep it in their hands for a 4th straight title on the final day as well. Win-win. And a draw no good to either of them.
Is the electricity in Liverpool games? I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I tell you what, when you watch a Jurgen Klopp Liverpool team play, they're usually watching a good game of football. And at the end, it's easy to see teams, obviously, close games out, be a lot more solid, go 5 at the back, 5-4-1. Honestly, I played for a manager who was exactly the same as him. They always took risks, they always played with courage, always played on the front foot, and they didn't stop at any part during the game. And I have to say, it's quite unique in this modern day to have a manager like that. So I was, I was actually begging him to carry on playing at the end.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but what I would say on that, I think if that wouldn't happen to Arsenal or Manchester City, and that's the reason why Liverpool...
The control.
Yeah, they've got more control. They don't allow that situation to happen. The game's killed at 3-1.
We knew they were guaranteed to finish third, and that is the case. They have 79 points. They'll get to 82 potentially. Aston Villa can get to a maximum of 71. Spurs can still get to 69, but only if they beat Manchester City tomorrow night. Sheffield United is their final game. If they were to beat Manchester City tomorrow night, then goal difference becomes interesting as well, doesn't it, on that last day?
But Tottenham's mindset was always going to have to be to win these 2 matches.
But if they lost tonight,
I know,
there was a chance for Spurs if they drew the game.
You're playing for a draw. The mindset was always going to have to be to go and win these 2 matches. It doesn't change.
Do you think that helps Spurs, though, in some ways?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think... I've watched Ange Postecoglou's teams all season. You have. We all have. They don't play for draws. They go and play to win. So, tomorrow night, we'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, that would have been better. It would have been better. You can still play for a win and the game ends up a draw. It doesn't mean you change your mentality in terms of trying to win the game, but it definitely makes it more difficult for them now.
Remember as well, Spurs, Man City, Manchester United and Newcastle wrestling for a place potentially in the Europa League, Europa Conference League as well. So there's something on that game on Wednesday night. It's a bit drier on Wednesday as we head back to Old Trafford. Don't think they've fixed the roof yet.
They win or they lose. He goes for it. It's going to be an electric game tomorrow. You have to give them a chance because of the firepower what Tottenham have. But, on the other hand, they leave themselves wide open, and if Man City take their chances, it could be a cricket score.
But you know, sometimes we talk about games and one of the sides are sitting in and one draws a great result. This is an extraordinary game in the last week of the season where both teams... You've been in that situation, haven't you?
I have, and we never mentioned in '99... I was playing for Tottenham, we went to Old Trafford and we scored. Les Ferdinand scored his one and only goal at Old Trafford and no one celebrated. Not the Man United fans and not the Tottenham fans. There was 5,000 Tottenham fans there who never celebrated because it could have helped Arsenal out. Now, it'd be interesting how that atmosphere is, but in the dressing room, you want to win. You play for your shirt. That's what you get paid for, to win football matches. Postecoglou said it today. You want no other interest other than winning the game for Tottenham. Because if they win 2 games now, there's a real chance.
And they've obviously got a chance. They've got a chance of finishing 4th. Yeah. So, I mean, if Aston Villa had won today, then OK, you might ask that question. But now they can get into 4th place, then there is no question what's going to happen. They're going to go for it.
And Villa, if Tottenham were to win, I'd say it's a big eye, they've got to go to Palace, who've suddenly won 5 out of 6 on the final day.
Yeah, with Eze, Elise, Mateta, how they're playing at the moment. Eze, yeah. You don't want to play them at the moment, especially at Selhurst Park. It's the last place you want to go, especially when you're running on empty. They want to go. They don't want anything in that last game. Because Palace, there's something on that game for them there. And a lot of these Palace players, the eyes of the world will be on that game, and they're playing for their futures elsewhere, I would suggest. Look, they've had a decent... Glasner's done a good job since he's been there, but Eze and Elise, Anderson, they want to get away. They want to play at big clubs, and there's a good chance they might. It's in the shop window. That puts them in the shop window.
And, obviously, Tottenham play against Sheffield United, so you would have thought that Tottenham are going to have a better chance there. So it really needs to get wrapped up before it comes to that last game, I'd suggest.
Fantastic game to watch. Let's speak to the Villa captain, John McGinn, live at Villa Park and see what it was like to play in. John, well done for that comeback. I mean, it was incredible to watch. What was it like to play in?
Oh, absolutely horrible. End to end. So we actually played to their strengths, so we were disappointed with that, but the effort these boys are putting in, I think it's went under the radar this season. Because of the way the manager is, he doesn't like excuses. We've had a fair share of injuries. We've had key players out for the whole season. So for the effort we're putting in after the disappointment of the other night, I think you could tell at 72, 73 minutes, I thought, right, let's get us going here. But you could see it was dead bodies out there. Then Big John comes on and is a brilliant finish, and the crowd roared us on at the end.
Yeah, I mean, those last 5-6 minutes, I mean, that mentality you're talking about, how deep did you all have?
Of us have played a lot of games, but we've got a problem in this country of complaining about playing football. We're living the dream, playing at the highest level. And we've been involved in the Premier League for the last few seasons, been Saturday to Saturday, and you boys will know how boring that is. So you're watching teams at the top end of the table, wanting to compete, wanting to get things that we've not achieved before, and that's the mentality we've been trying to drill into the boys. But there's a balance there of tiredness, just needing to get over that line, and we are so close now, but we're not quite there yet.
John, it's Michael Owen speaking. I was just wondering there, you said you've watched other teams. You're going to be doing that tomorrow night. How are you going to watch it? Is everybody going to be together, or are you going to be all individually? It's obviously an potential exciting night for you.
It is an exciting night. We'll actually get the Club's Player of the Year awards. So while Ollie's on the stage collecting every single award going, we'll have, I'm sure, on somebody's iPad or phone, and then being the biggest Man City supporters in the world. But I think it's a dangerous one. I think Tottenham are more than capable of beating anyone in this league on their day. They're a very dangerous side with a good manager. So we need to keep the boys focused. We might only need a point on Sunday, but if it manages to get finished tomorrow, I'm sure the sparkling water will get changed to something a wee bit more fizzy.
John, well done, mate. Real character. I thought you had cracked your rib in the first half. I thought you might come off the pitch.
Honestly, I've done something to it, but I was going mad at the ref, because I do genuinely think, right, I'm watching some players in other games in the league, and they're falling over with nothing, but I feel as if there's certain players in the league that don't get fouls like that, and I was going mental. He's elbowed me clearly in the ribs, but I quite enjoyed the fact that it allowed me to get one back on somebody else. I did feel a wee bit bad about that. But he caught me a cracker, fair play to him, and I've definitely done something to my left rib, and it's a miracle that I've got through that game.
John, it's really difficult playing on a Thursday. It's a lot easier when you play on a Wednesday. Are you going to be looking forward to playing on a Wednesday?
I mean, this is our first season in European football. It's just been a dream. We've definitely underachieved in that competition, we know that. But I think when we got back to 3-3 today, I think some people will be thinking, why are they not going for the winner? Why are they not going for the winner? I mean, if we took the 2-2 draw at home to Olympiacos, we might have been in a better position for the second leg. So I think it's about learning as a group. We're not used to these situations and scenarios, even though we have experienced players in the group. It's all a bit new to us, but for 10, 11 years since we were children, we've dreamed about playing in front of that Champions League music, and hopefully we're so close now. So if we don't manage to get it, don't speak to me all summer.
Well, we're delighted to speak to you tonight. You're nearly there. Well done tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. John McGinn, live from Villa Park. You can hear it in his voice, what it would mean to that group and to him.
He's so honest. He's great, and he's great for the public to watch. You know, not only is he a warrior and a manager's dream, but he's also good for the public because he gives you... If you're a Villa fan, if you got on that pitch, you'd play exactly like him. You wouldn't have the quality, but you'd have the same heart as him because he wears his heart on his sleeve. He plays for that badge. The shirt, he appreciates he's in the Premier League, and now he wants more. He wants more than that. He wants Champions League football, and the managers give him the Champions League football by putting a team together which can challenge and be so consistent all season. You'd have to say, if they get there now, they deserve it.
And to come from 3-1 down tonight, because you both said, I think the next goal at half-time could be crucial. Villa probably have to score it. Liverpool scored it 3 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look at that 3-1, Steve. We'll just play it slowly because it's a free kick for Liverpool in a dangerous enough position, but Aston Villa are getting the line basically based on the 18-yard box. And what you've got is two players on the ball, and Tim was mentioning it. This is why they have two players on the ball. There's a dummy run that's about to come from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it actually shifts the defence back. We'll just watch Trent running up to the ball now, and when we pause it, when he's about to hit it, we'll just forward it a little bit more. Look at this man here. This is Pau Torres, and all of a sudden, he's playing a lot of playing onside in a moment. So when Harvey Elliott then goes to play the ball, you could argue that he's playing... I mean, maybe even Quansah would be offside. Yeah. This man here is a Gakpo, but that man there is probably offside. And also, this is a bad situation. He's let his man go at the back.
He's let him go, but the dummy's crucial because Pau Torres goes in. And when he goes in, he then tries to correct it and come back out. But Virgil doesn't let him come back out. If you rewind it a wee bit there, Michael, if you see, he realises that he's dropped the line, and then as he tries to come left and come out of there, you watch it, Virgil van Dijk, number 4 there, he leaves him in there, bumps him, bump. Without that knock there, he's offside, Quansah at the back post. Yeah. It's really, really good, clever play from Liverpool and a wonderful header.
Yeah, I love the header because if he tries to head that with pace, Steve, he'd have to go to the ball and almost head it hard. When the ball is coming over your head like that, or you think it's a bit too high, if you back up and just almost let it hit you, you're giving the ball another couple of inches just to drop down. So ideally, that ball would have been dropped a little bit further and he would have gone bang and headed it in. But he's probably thinking, that's going over my head here. So I'll take a step back, I'll jump high and long, and I'll just take the pace off it. Gives the ball a little bit more time to come down. Beautifully directed header.
Yeah, and after that, you know what? We were talking, we're thinking damage limitation here. You know, 3-1, looks like they've got no energy left. All of a sudden, the crowd picked them up. They got a few opportunities, they created a few chances, had a disallowed goal, and then they got them. Their little character, epitomised by that man, McGinn, just drove them forward, and they get back in the game. Incredible.
And this is how they got back in the game, Tim, as well. I mean, it's a poor one from Liverpool's point of view, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, you see Alisson dropping the ball here. We'll just speed it up a little bit. Virgil van Dijk gets the ball, and you think, you have got options, Virgil. And when he's about to play it, if we pause it there, I mean, if you're a midfielder, would you want it there? You've got a bit of space, but would you want the ball there?
I don't want that ball there. And I think if you give Virgil his time again, then he would pass that ball out there to Gomez.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the safe
you can
ball. Open them up.
Yeah, you can go there, but you can also come back and come out this side, can't you?
Yeah, the only place where if you're a Villa player and you're a Villa manager, the only place you want him to play that is into McAllister.
Yeah.
Because as soon as that ball's on its way, so are the defenders, and they're surrounding him.
Yeah, 5 players all around him.
Miscontrolled.
Really. Yeah, and he should know what's around him.
Great touch.
That is a brilliant touch.
Great touch from Duran. Just waits for McAllister to go that side, just pops it inside. Whoops, there he goes. Cannot get back. Hits it inside his legs.
This one, no? You're never thinking that? I was thinking at the time, not that I would have done it, but I thought...
if he would have started the game, perhaps.
Yeah.
He's just come on. He wants to make an impact.
Yes.
You know, and he thinks this is all about me, and bang, what a finish that is.
Yeah, it was a great finish. He hit it hard. We talk about Tielemans hitting their goal hard, but he smacked that one into the back of the net, Steve. And if you can just click up...
This, but they earned that fortune, didn't they?
They did, and before the fortunate piece, it was great play by Aston Villa. I just want you to keep an eye here. If I just highlight him before... Diaby, just watch his movement now. He starts moving and he checks, he finds a little gap. He's thinking, am I going there? And he sees one of the players, I think it's Endo or Gakpo, just blocking it, so he goes to the other side and then watches touch, and then it's acceleration past McAllister. It's brilliant. I think that's the making of the goal, Tim.
Well, I was having him off the pitch, but that's why Unai Emery knows him better than I do, and he thinks, keep him on the pitch because he's got moments like that which change the game. They get fortunate with a Duran finish, of course they do. But a bit of quality there. Great movement, and the way he receives it on the back foot just makes all the difference. That's why Unai Emery kept him on the pitch, because I thought he had a poor game.
So we saw 6 goals. We could have easily seen more. Alisson save at the end. But in the first half, Diego Carlos and Ollie Watkins, who was almost on the end of
It's getting more and more uncomfortable every time I see this. I mean, it's a real poor miss from Diego Carlos. Listen, I think Tielemans does brilliant. He wins it back there, and then he gets through to Bailey, and then it's just... This is not a great angle, but it's a great angle to see that it's a poor miss. There's not an angle where we can protect him. There really isn't. But when you see him try and get in front, here, from this one, try and get in front now of Ollie Watkins, why would you do that? You're aware of all the surroundings. You know there's not a Liverpool player in there, but he was just trying to be selfish and score himself rather than leave it to his man, top scorer in the league, and he had an easy tap in. I cannot believe he's... Because what he's done is, because he's occupied with Ollie, he's took his eye off the ball and it's just squirmed off his foot.
Yeah, the ball's just gone a little bit too quick for him. He's just not got his feet into position. And by the time he's lifted and tried to prod out, the ball has just gone past and he's flicked it. Bad miss, but... As we saw earlier, there's been a bad miss in this fixture before.
Well, yeah, there you go then. I mean, in terms of Premier League era.